Hi, I'm Eric Dykstra. This is my action research project summary. I appreciate the time you're taking to look it over, and I appreciate any positive feedback or critiques that you could offer that'll help improve it. The purpose of this action plan is to engage students more. I work in a juvenile detention facility, and getting them to be engaged, discussing events that happened over 250 years ago is not the easiest task. So this research is about using multimedia elements to help improve student engagement and eventually improve test scores and keep them enrolled in the class longer. The problem that I see is that independent reading is a significant struggle that needs remediation to allow for individual student success. The questions I came up with: how can multimedia increase ongoing interest in the study of United States history? How can the inclusion of videos lead to improved comprehension and mastery of content? And how will the inclusion of multimedia bolster students' ability to manage content-specific readings, maintain steady pace, and stay in the class longer? While conducting my literature review, I found that Bezetta Moore researched the impact of YouTube within a course on students' attitudes and perceptions. She pointed out that students of this current generation are digital natives and are geared toward learning and using user-generated content. Her research discovered that YouTube did offer some benefits to the digital age learner, and there's evidence that cognition is improved in some learners by simply using YouTube. This shows that student perception welcomes the inclusion of YouTube, which is something I'll be working with. I also looked at an article from Frank Schipper. His research discussed incorporating videos in a course can help boost student involvement and heighten learning. His research also found that short videos were the best to increase student interest. Limiting it to a minute to 5 minutes was the best range. For my research methodology and design, its primary purpose is to analyze how multimedia can positively impact mastery and increase test scores. So I'll be looking at quantitative figures and qualitative figures. The Pearson program that I currently use for the curriculum has these analytics built into their software, and I'll be using these to monitor the students' perceptions and interests before and after the multimedia elements are implemented. As far as data collection goes, again, it'll be the Pearson Connexus test analytics software. That will be the main method of collecting the quantitative data. There will be a student self-assessment survey that will be collected to give more of a qualitative perspective. And there's another test that we call the BASI, the Basic Aptitude Skills Inventory, that we offer at our facility that tests reading levels. At a first glance at the data, we could see that from tests 1, 2, 3, and 4, where the orange arrow points out, it shows that the number of students remaining in a class long term has dropped drastically from the beginning first unit from 40 students enrolled down to 13 students by the test number 4. Again, this sounds a little strange, but due to the nature of the facility, since it is a prison, students come and go, there are factors that play into that as well. The second set of data is the self-assessment. There's a understanding baseline and a interest baseline. And this is something I'm going to be working with more, ensuring that all students take these self-assessments. As it shows in the preliminary data, that bottom line there where all the dots are hanging down is students that have not taken this. So as this progresses and the research continues, it will be a requirement before they progress to the next level that they do take these self-assessments. So for the future action plan, I intend to implement the multimedia supplementals to the currently use curriculum in the United States history course. The goal is to balance the heavy amount of content-specific reading so that the students receive enough information and videos to allow them to better comprehend the readings. In the second part of the action plan, to ensure ongoing high levels of student nutrition in the class, is to require that students consistently complete the self-assessment surveys so we can analyze that as they move through the course. As you look at the driving forces and restraining forces, those are some of the things that were based off of the literature review, using highly engaging videos, 1 to 5 minute segments to maintain attention. The reason I'm using videos is because their access is so limited within the prison facility that seeing any video, especially a YouTube video, is extremely engaging and highly coveted. As far as the evaluation data, preliminary plan includes analyzing the quantitative data from the Connexus software and comparing it to that baseline that I had created earlier. So it's just going to be an ongoing process of seeing where that lays. Secondly, the quantitative student survey will also show if the interest and understanding has improved long term over the course of a month or two, depending on how long the student is actually enrolled in the course. Another thing I want to look at is if longer video clips can be used, in what that range will be. It could be up to 15 to 30 minutes as long as it's content specific and content rich.